The slogan, Defund the Police, captured media attention and headlines in 2020. And although some politicians have distanced themselves from the movement, others have embraced it. People opposed to defunding the police point to data that solidifies their views. They often call for change and reform, but say defunding the police will lead to spikes in crime and other problems. Advocates for defunding the police point to the historic and systemic inequities that have plagued policing in the United States. They claim reforms have not worked and that we need to reimagine policing to bring real and systemic change. Simple reforms, they claim, will not untether us from racial biases that are rooted in our society. Whether you are for or against defunding the police, one thing is clear. Debates on the topic often get lost in murky language. This is why many news articles post the question, what does defunding the police actually mean? Some advocates claim police are necessary, but more resources need to be allocated to professionals who are better suited to deal with mental illness, homelessness, and more. While others claim it is the police unions that need to be disbanded. Still others say police departments should be phased out and dismantled over time. This is where you fit into the picture. Your mission is to write a 500-word or more reflective paper on the topic of defunding the police. The purpose of this is to really think about the topic. Your reflection will include 4 sections. Section 1, you need to answer the question, what are my biases on this topic? Do you come from a family with more of a conservative or liberal bias? And how could that impact your ideas about policing? The purpose of this section is to be wary of confirmation bias. This is when people search for and try to confirm beliefs they already have and ignore evidence that runs contrary to these opinions. It feels good to authenticate things we believe in. It doesn't feel as good to admit we are wrong and change your mind. This section sets the tone that we will strive to be as objective as possible. For Section 2, you need to answer the question, what facts or data stand out or intrigue me? This section is where you start to compile your research. Write down facts or data that intrigue or perhaps shock you, and give reasoning why you think they are relevant to this debate. For Section 3, you need to think, what questions do I need to investigate and research more about this topic? The more you learn about something and the more complex your views become, the more questions you will have. This is where you will write the questions that trouble or intrigue you as you process your thinking. For Section 4, you will write your preliminary thesis statement. At this point, you should start to take a position in this debate. However, this is a preliminary thesis because you can still change your mind as you gather evidence and listen to the thesis statements and reasoning of classmates. You will need to present your thesis statement to the class, where classmates will have the opportunity to ask you questions about how you came up with your ideas. And you will have the chance to listen to the thesis statements of your peers and ask them how they came to their conclusions. Once every student has shared their thesis statements, you have 2 choices. 1, either keep your original thesis statement, or 2, you can change your thesis statement. Perhaps a classmate said something you had never thought about before, or you learned something new that changed your mind. This is all part of the process. Good luck, and let's get started.